Every country on earth at the moment is reforming public education. There are two reasons for it. The first of them is economic. People are trying to work out, how do we educate our children to take their place in the economies of the 21st century? How do we do that, given that we can't anticipate what the economy will look like at the end of next week, as the recent turmoil is demonstrating? How do we do that? The second, though, is cultural. Every country on earth is trying to figure out, how do we educate our children so they have a sense of cultural identity and so that we can pass on the cultural genes of our communities while being part of the process of globalization? How do we square that circle? The problem is they're trying to meet the future by doing what they did in the past. And on the way, they're alienating millions of kids who don't see any purpose in going to school. When we went to school, we were kept there with a story, which was if you worked hard and did well and got a college degree, you would have a job. Our kids don't believe that. And they're right not to, by the way. You're better having a degree than not, but it's not a guarantee anymore. And particularly not if the route to it marginalizes most of the things that you think are important about yourself. The problem is that the current system of education was designed and conceived and structured for a different age. It was conceived in the intellectual culture of the Enlightenment and in the economic circumstances of the Industrial Revolution. A system of education that is modelled on the interests of industrialism and in the image of it. I'll give you a couple of examples. Schools are still pretty much organised on factory lines, ringing bells, separate facilities, specialised into separate subjects. We still educate children by batches. We put them through the system by age group. Why do we do that? Why is there this assumption that the most important thing kids have in common is how old they are? It's like the most important thing about them is their date of manufacture. You know what I mean? Well, I know kids who are much better than other kids at the same age in different disciplines, or at different times of the day, or better in smaller groups than in large groups, or sometimes they want to be on their own. If you're interested in the model of learning, you don't start from this production line mentality. It's essentially about conformity, and increasingly it's about that as you look at the growth of standardized testing and standardized curricula. And it's about standardization. I believe we've got to go in the exact opposite direction. That's what I mean about changing the paradigm. These kids are being medicated as routinely as we had our tonsils taken out. And on the same whimsical basis, and for the same reason, medical fashion. Our children are living in the most intensely stimulating period in the history of the earth. They're being besieged with information and calls for their attention from every platform, computers, from iPhones, from advertising holdings, from hundreds of television channels. And we're penalizing them now for getting distracted. An anesthetic is when you shut your senses off and deaden yourself to what's happening. And a lot of these drugs are that. We're getting our children through education by anesthetizing them. And I think we should be doing the exact opposite. We shouldn't be putting them asleep. We should be waking them up to what they have inside of themselves.
STEAMed is one of the most talked about topic in education. What exactly is STEAMed? STEAMed stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, and design. But it's more than that. STEAMed has grown to represent a unique approach to teaching and learning, where it centers around individual students' learning styles and interests. This means STEAMed education has something to offer every student. Unlike traditional educational experiences, in which subject areas are concentrated on separately, STEAMed education emphasizes technology and integrates subjects in ways that connect disciplines and relate them to each other. So, why is STEAM getting so much attention? STEAM moves beyond simple performance and focuses on developing higher-level thinking skills by connecting classroom learning to the real world. STEAMed emphasizes collaboration, communication, research, problem-solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Skills that students need to be successful in today's world. regardless of specific interest or career course. STEAMed as a direct response to realization that our future will be built on our capacity for innovation, invention and creative problem solving. What do? We bring hands-on applied learning through innovation to school and college. What problem do we solve? There is only theory being taught in school with almost no application of it, practicing 19th, 20th century learning. Now 21st century students need critical thinking skills, creativity skills, cognitive load balancing skills, and we are bringing all theses skills and many more for the current generation students through our world-class products and services. How is our product or service different? Made in India, learning pedagogy mapped to curriculum class-wise, age-wise, open source platforms used for students to be part of global learning than local teaching. Evaluation methodology to ensure learning outcomes through mind mapping. Why should you care? World is changing very fast than ever before, and meta trends suggest that the job that we have today will not be available anymore, as the automation or robots will do these work by 2020 to 2025. 65% of the new job which will be available by 2020 and 2025, not yet created. So, the only way to be ready for a better chance to fit in the new century life is to have skills that will assist you. These skills are critical thinking skills, creative skills, primarily STEAMed skills,